Is to, oh, we're on now, okay. You'll hear us.
I've got to go fix something, so when we start.
Hello.
Can hear you. So how often do y'all meet?
Every Friday.
Ev-
Well, probably 45 Fridays. We don't meet on,
Probably Good Friday,
but just
most Fridays.
we do it here 3 days or 3 Fridays, and the fourth Friday we normally go out to lunch
Oh,
for
okay.
our birthdays.
Nice.
That's where we started coming.
Yeah. Oh. Well, I told Joe maybe we could figure something out where y'all could come again. That would be nice. Will y'all sit here or?
And we normally what happens is Joe calls everybody over and
I don't sit here.
sit here.
Yeah. Well,
Grab a seat and stay at the table.
yeah. Cool. Well, I am now. I've moved here roughly 5 years ago. Yeah, and I love it. I love San Antonio. I grew up in Houston, and then I lived in Austin area. I lived in San Marcos. I lived in Dallas. I've lived in the Bastrop area, and now here. But I'm really surprised at how much I love San Antonio. I had a preconceived ideas of what San Antonio was, and it's not that at all. So I'm very happy here. Yeah. Yeah, we came with the cafe. Someone's like walked into the Smithville cafe and said, y'all need to be in San Antonio. And so we followed them because we believe that's where God wanted us, and obviously it was. So we're here. Yeah. So here we are. Yeah. And we've been here 6 years, but I came a year after everybody. Yeah.
Ready?
I'm ready.
You're live.
I'm live.
Where's the handheld? Is it up there?
Pops has it. Harold has it. Harold. I call it Pops or Harold. Pops. He didn't look like a Pops. I know. He's a Pops. You'll get to know his personality. He's a Pops personality. He's a sweet guy. Sweet, sweet guy. We are. Yeah.
We'll be disappointed after eating your food.
I know, it kind of ruined me going out to eat. I had to change my strategies going out to eat because everywhere I went, I was so disappointed. But once I started, what we found is like going to more mom and pops places and not necessarily not chains for sure, because people just get in the functionality of it and not the love of it. And so I think, because when I noticed, like we would go to some Indian restaurants and stuff, and they were family owned, and then I could feel it and taste it. So I had to kind of change my way of going out to eat. So because it did mess it up.
When we travel, we try to do that as much as we can.
Yeah.
Because if you want to eat a chain, you can eat a chain
Anywhere.
So now when I travel, I like to go to the
Try something.
really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that is a cool experience. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, being around Comfort Cafes definitely made me.
Well, if you
a
want to
foodie-
find a seat over here, we'll
a
get
foodie-
started.
foodie. Well, yeah.
I have missed being with y'all.
Oh, where's he been?
It was 2 weeks. I would have rather been here than where I was, but glad to be back.
See, it's a little sweet group.
That's right, you were there. You were there. Well, welcome to Keys. It's officially spring, right?
Yep.
And it is getting warmer, right? So
Don't.
we have representatives from Comfort Cafe and Serenity Star Recovery today. You remember Comfort Cafe? We can't go there anymore because we have too many people. So if you want to go there, you need to get a group of 4 or 5 of your friends and go together, because they can't accommodate a group of 30 anymore. And that we were disappointed with that. There are sign-ups on this out on the table, and I'll give you more information about the things that are coming up when we're ready to have lunch. Coming up on Holy Week, Sunday is Palm Sunday, believe it or not. And then we've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday is an Easter egg hunt for kids, so you're all going to come, right? And then Sunday, next Sunday is Easter Sunday. I just can't believe it. So today we have Gina and Pops. And I asked him why they call him Pops, and then because he doesn't seem that old, but I think he's probably older than most of the kids that are there,
Yeah.
and that's why they call him Pops. But Gina, actually it was Nona who got me the name. Nona and Barry were there, and you wrote down your name, and that's how I got your number and all that. So
Great.
welcome,
Thank
and
you.
we're happy to hear from you. And you're going to use the mic.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Gina, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about Serenity Star and how it began. I was fortunate enough to meet Terry and Rosie way before Serenity Star was even a thought, I guess. We started in Smithville, Texas, and Terry and Rosie came from New York, and they were 2 recovering addicts, alcoholics, that in New York, any city block, you'll find a meeting, you find support. Well, they moved to little Smithville, Texas, where there was 1 meeting a week, and they're like, oh no, this is not going to keep us sober. Terry was a mom working in treatment. She was a licensed therapist, and Rosie was actually a recovering addict and alcoholic that was in the treatment center. And Rosie actually was homeless for many years in the Bronx. And so they had lots of relapses. So they were creating something that would be sustainable to them. And they didn't know that that was what their journey was, but that's what their journey was. And what's beautiful is what they implemented in their life is what we do for the program now. And so when I met them, I was going through a divorce, and I didn't know how to get out. I thought you get married and you stay in it forever, but the relationship that I was in was very abusive, and I had to get out. I didn't know myself. I lost who I was completely, and so God brought me. I kept praying. I need like-minded people, because I was getting help, but it wasn't what I needed. And I had a therapist, and I had other people, and I didn't identify as alcoholic. My ex-husband, in my mind, he was the alcoholic, and he was the problem. So my DOC, drug of choice, was codependency and relying on other people and needing to be validated by other people. And so I didn't know that until I met Terry and Rosie and started my recovery of healing. And so when we did, we opened a cafe. We were running a cafe, and it was a friend of Terry and Rosie's. And then we started doing meetings, doing different kinds of spiritual teachings, and implementing that in my life, and then the people that were around us, they would implement that in their life. And then what's interesting is that is the program today, like I was saying. So we started a community outreach building. We had our community outreach. We did garage sales every weekend to make the money for the rent. And our rent was like $500. And each month we're like, we don't know how we're going to make it, but each month God would provide. God would provide. And then it's expanded. We had, we're talking about creating a men's housing, because what we do is we house the recovering addict and alcoholic for 6 months to a year. And then if they wish to stay on staff, then they can choose to stay on staff and continue being with us. So we have people that are with us for multiple years, and they can choose to stay on staff or transition, after a few years. So it's a very flexible program, and everybody's program is different. So let's see, where was I? Oh yeah, thank you. So we were doing, and then so we were looking at opening the men's house, and then somebody came in, and their nephew needed help. And so God brought the money to open the first men's house. And then a few years later, we opened the women's house. And then a few years after that, we opened a family house. And so in Smithville, we have 10 acres, and we have the men, women, and family all on there. And then we're running our cafe there. And then several years into running the cafe and doing that, someone said, y'all need to be in San Antonio. And they showed us a cafe in San Antonio. So we've been in San Antonio, I think it's coming on 6 years. And San Antonio has blessed us in so many ways. So we can continue. And what the cafe does is it provides the donations in order to continue to run our program. So we don't ever have to turn anyone away for wherever their financial situation is. And I would say probably 85%, if not more, of the people that come to us are not in a position to pay. So we're so grateful for the support. And we also have private donors that help us out as well. And I will say right now we are doing fundraising. We have 3 acres in the medical district, because we want to continue to expand, and we want to mimic what we have in Smithville. So we have 3 acres in the medical district that we are wanting to put a community building and a men's house, and then after that expand and see where it goes, probably a women's house. And so that's where we are in our expansion in San Antonio. And we have residents, so we have a house up to 60 residents in Smithville, and we have 5 rental houses right now, so to support people that live here now until we get on the land. And so I will pause right now. I'm going to introduce Pops. He goes by Pops. Also, his name is Harold. And Harold came to us almost 2 years ago. And I'll let Harold tell you a little bit of his story, and then I'll tell you a little bit of more of mine. So I'm going to give Harold the floor right now. Thank you.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I'm Harold Jones. Happy to be here. I'm really honored to be here. Like, I've never done this before, and this is my first experience, so bear with me, okay? First off, like I said, my name is Harold Jones. I just turned 53 this April 3rd, and I know that's a little young for y'all, this crowd right here. But they call me, I go by Pops, and I prefer Pops because I'm a Pops. You know, I got grandkids. I was I was born in Mississippi, came out to California when I was 3 years old. I don't remember much that time, but as I grew up around six and 7 years old, I knew that I had dysfunctional family, you know what I mean? Like my dad, he would beat on my mom all the time, he's very abusive. My mom, she worked hard, never used drugs or anything. She was going to nursing school, working and going to school at the same time. After all of the abuse that my mom took, she finally got sense enough to, leave my father. And then about a year later, she met an amazing man named Johnny Murphy, and he was totally the opposite of my father, my real father. A very kind soul. I lived in the LA area. This is in the 70s, so it's a lot of violence, a lot of thievery, a lot of cuss words, just bad stuff. And I was exposed to all this, you know what I mean? I had to fight a lot. My dad was a big guy, he was a big guy, and he was, just everyone was scared of him. So like in that era, everyone wanted to fight, and he would always win fighting. So if my dad was a fighter, I had to be a fighter. It's just crazy. People would bring their kids over so us kids could fight, you know what I mean? And I had a kind soul. I never wanted to fight, but I had to just to survive, Either you go out there and fight, or I'm gonna get a whipping from my dad, pretty much. And I was scared of my father. After my mom met the amazing man, we moved out of the ghetto part, you know what I mean? And that's where I started experiencing. Got you. That's where I started experiencing that I was the only black in the schools, you know what I mean? And it took effect on my life. No one wanted to play with me. They kind of stood away from me, And it was still a little racial stuff going on in the late 70s, And it really hurt me because I'm a people's person. I love everyone, I got in fights in school over name callings and stuff like that, But there was no drugs in my house. There was no violence in my house at this time. My mom and dad got along, Fast forward a little bit, we moved farther away from LA area into like a little place called Victorville, California. I don't know if you guys ever heard of any place like that, but that's where I grew up, and I became popular in sports, wasn't doing well in school only because I couldn't see the chalkboard and I didn't know that I needed glasses, so I wouldn't pay attention in school, But I made it my grades enough just to play football, and I was a good football player, As soon as I got into high school and people started recognizing my sportsmanship, I'm popular, Everyone's wanting to hang out with me, just crazy stuff. I didn't know how to take it, I started ditching school with the popular crowd. When it comes to ditching school, I started drinking alcohol, I started missing school like crazy. Soon after that, I just wasn't going to school anymore. Next, I came around, marijuana popped in the picture, took a lot of marijuana in my time. I didn't really like the alcohol or anything like that because, I got dizzy. And I couldn't control that dizziness, you know what I mean? I didn't like being out of control, And now, I got infatuated with the cheerleaders. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I got infatuated with the cheerleaders. They like the sports guys. And I met a girl, a Caucasian girl, and, she wasn't allowed to date me in public, and that kind of hurt me because I couldn't go meet her parents or anything like that. But we ended up having a child together, and my football career was pretty much non-existent after I started using drugs and ditching school. Couldn't make the grades to play on my last year of varsity. Had kids, started working, normally. By this time, I didn't know that I was an addict. I started using methamphetamines, you know what I mean? And at that time, I didn't know anything about methamphetamine, cocaine, none of that stuff, And I didn't know anything about addiction other than that I liked doing it, But stuff got worse and worse for me, you know. Even though I had a child, our relationship, we split up. The relationship wasn't like it was supposed to be. Like I wanted a two-parent household, you know. I stopped cold turkey just to raise my child, but my other half, she still wanted to party and stuff, you know, and that didn't work out, you know. Fast forward there, I started going to prison. Seemed like for 20 years straight, I could not stay out of prison because of my habit and the things that I was doing, you know. I started robbing houses, you know, stealing from banks, anything to support my habit, you know. I've been to jail and prison 7 times, you know. The longest stretch was 4 years straight, you know. And seems like the more I went to prison, the more criminal-minded I became. You know, that's how it goes in there. Prison is not a rehabilitation, you know, it's really not. Fast forward there, I got 6 kids now, but by the grace of God, none of my kids follow in my footsteps. None of my kids ever went to jail. None of my kids used drugs, you know. And I believe the way that I was raised, or the way that I was in their life, and they seen how I was, stopped them from following in my footsteps, and I thank God for that, you know what I mean? As they got older, they separated in different states. I have a daughter who's stationed out here in the Army, and she found Comfort Cafe just by coming in and eating with her luncheon that she had with her Army buddies. And, you know, I was living with her at the time, running in and out of her house, not calling her, saying, hey, I'm gonna be gone for 2 or 3 days. When I did come home, I would eat up all her food, not clean up after myself, sleep for days, you know, and just wasn't a father or a grandpa anymore. So when she went to the Comfort Cafe, she found out what was going on there with all the people, and she literally sat there and called me and said, hey, Dad, I got a spot for you. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, she's tired of my mess. She wants me out of her house. She makes a lot of money. She's just gonna buy me a 1-bedroom apartment and just put me away, you know? And when I suggested that to her, she's like, no, Dad, I'm not trying to get rid of you. I'm trying to get you some help. And you know what I told her? I told her, nah, I'm good on all that. And I was a jerk, and I hung up the phone on her. Like, the nerve of her trying to get me some help. I'm all right. Well, I was not all right at all, okay? So the very next day, she calls and says, hey, Dad, you've been gone for about a week. I'm in your room cleaning up your mess again. I see your high blood pressure medicine is here. Your diabetic medicine here. Are you okay? When was the last time you ate something decent? And, you know, I honestly couldn't tell her. That's how good I was out there, you know what I mean? I wasn't eating or doing nothing, taking care of myself. So she's like, okay, well, where are you at? We're going to go. I'm going to pick you up. We're going to go out to eat. My treat. Don't worry about anything. I was like, yeah, free food? Who's going to deny some free food, you know? So when she picks me up, right, we did not say one word to each other. Not, hey, Dad, how you doing? Or, hi, baby girl, how you doing? And I preferred that at the time because every time I was using, I would look into my daughter's eyes and I could see all the pain, the shame, the love, the concerns, and that would mess me up, you know what I mean? And I wanted to feel good, you know? So we get to the Comfort Cafe, we're sitting down, and I'm just looking at the beautiful scenery at those patios. I'm looking at all the pancakes and waffles and just the scrambles and just all that stuff. I'm just looking at it, plates going by. Ooh, I think I want to get that. What is that? And I'll never forget, Michael Jackson was on the radio. Mama saying, Mama socking monkeys, Mama saying, Mama socking monkeys. And I'm sitting there jugging with the music, you know, and she's like, Dad, you like this place? I was like, yeah, I like the vibe here. It's really chill. The scenery is lovely. The food looks amazing. She's like, Dad, this is the place I was telling you about. And I stopped and I was like, what are you talking about? Because I just totally dismissed the conversation from the day before. And she's like, this is the place that's going to get you some help. So I immediately get defensive. For one, she's bribing me with some food. And it worked. It got me there at the Comfort Cafe. It worked. For two, she had a secret intervention going on, and no drug addict or alcoholic like, surprise, we're going to get you some help. You know, nobody likes that, you know. instead of being real mad at my daughter, I thought I was going to get smart with her, and I told her, what are these people going to do for me? Hire a drug addict and a felon? And she's like, yeah, Dad, everyone here who's working is an alcoholic or a drug addict or addict. And so I stopped and started looking at all the people serving, busing, the host, everyone that I can see that had something to do with the Comfort Cafe. And I didn't see any addicts or alcoholics. But, you know, the only difference is the addicts and alcoholics in recovery, okay? So when I turn back to my daughter, I can see tears in her eyes that's forming because she knows I got a lot of rabbit in my blood. If I don't like a situation, I will bone out. I would leave real quick. But in that moment, something told me to sit down and sit your behind down and listen to your daughter for once. And today, I know that was God talking to me, you know. And I said to her, what do you want me to do? Not so simple like that. Probably the whole cafe hurt me because I had some anger behind it, you know. I'm caught, I'm you know. So she's like, Dad, just try it for 30 days. If you don't like it, I promise you, I'll come back and pick you up. You can come back home. And out of her 33 years of her life, never ever has she broken a promise to me, not like I have many a times in her life, you know. But not only have I gave her her little 30 days of sobriety, but right now I'm working on 22 months of sobriety at Serenity Star, you know. And today, thank you. And today, I can honestly tell you, I love myself. I love me some me today. You know what I mean? I really do. I love me some me. I love what Serenity Star has done for me. Taught me how to love myself. Taught me how to speak up for myself. Taught me how just to live life differently, you know. And the Comfort Cafe is, oh my God, if I wasn't part of the Comfort Cafe, I wouldn't be happy. I love telling my stories. I love telling my jokes. I got a couple jokes for you guys in a little bit. I love the service work. I love seeing people's smiles when they see this big old giant parfait, you know, some wine glass, rise and shine breakfast. I just love it. It's purposeful for me today. The things that I learned at Serenity Star helped me heal my life. I'm not going to say I had a hard life. I made my life hard on myself, you know what I mean? And there's no one to blame about that, you know. Now today that I love myself, I'm working and loving myself more and more each day. The joy that I have, the peace that I have. Never in a million years will I ever be sitting here talking to you guys if I was out there still in addiction, you know what I mean? And I'm very grateful for that. I don't have to worry about the police. I don't have to worry about people trying to rob me trying to rob the community. I don't have to worry about that no more. I'm living life different, and I'm very, very grateful for Serenity Star. Grateful for customers that come in at Comfort Cafe. It's made my life. I'm the happiest I've ever been in 36 years, maybe even more than that. You know, I am so happy, so peaceful. Yeah. So. That's a little bit of my story. I didn't want to go through the whole detail of everything, you know what I mean? Because, you know, all I know today, the program that I'm in, it works. It works for me. It works for my family. Everyone's happy. My children respect me now, you know. My grandchildren, I have a time to spend with my grandchildren, not in prison, not talking to them through the phone or glass, you know, petition or anything. I got the chance to go back to California to visit my dad for his 90th birthday surprise party, and how he looked at me. I'll never forget the way he was like, man, you look so good. You look so good. I'm so proud of you. You know, he's almost out the door. You know what I mean? He's almost out the door, but just that, just that memory of me, him seeing me the way I am so grateful for that, you know, that I'm doing the right thing and he can sell off whenever he goes. You know, I'm not wishing that he goes soon, but he just have this memory that I'm doing good and his baby boy is going to be all right, okay? Well, okay. So, you guys like jokes? Okay. What do you call a nun sleepwalking? A nun sleepwalking. What do you call her? No one? A Roman Catholic.
You gotta say it in the microphone.
A Roman Catholic. A Roman Catholic. Okay, I got one more. Maybe a couple more. See, I'm so happy I can be able to tell these jokes and just be authentic with myself. That's what Serenity Star got me back to my authentic self, and I really appreciate it. Okay, what do you call Batman running out of church? Batman running out of church. No one? Christian Bale. Okay, one more. Let's see. What did the dentist get for his 1-year anniversary? What did the dentist get for his 1-year anniversary? No one? No.
Very good.
He got a little plaque. Thank you. I'm Harold Jones. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you. Oh, I don't need that. Do y'all have any questions for Harold? Does anyone?
Yeah.
No, he's actually here.
I'm
So
here.
we have a program here too. So Harold is part of our Serenity Star in San Antonio.
Yes, and I'm a staff member. My plan so far is to be here in Serenity Star and Comfort Cafe, and help us grow more. Like I say, I have no purpose other than to be in service and do God's work and better myself and help other addicts that come in, help them with their problems and better themselves. That's what's on my heart right now. You know what I mean? I have no plans for anything else. Yes.
Once you got to Serenity Star, what was the hardest part for you to start in your recovery?
Since you asked that, now even though I've been in a lot of trouble and all that stuff, I'm very smart, right? So when I got to Serenity Star, I saw a good thing. So it was not hard at all for me. Not hard at all. Once I came here at Serenity Star and surrender my own will to God, when I said, hey, when I get to this place, I'm going to surrender everything. I'm going to give myself 100% chance of recovery because I've been through a lot in my life, and I was sick and tired. So the hardest thing probably for me was to love myself, and my community loved me to the point to where I could start loving myself. And it was hard because I really didn't receive love out there in the streets and stuff, and so I wasn't trusting a lot of people. But when I came into Serenity Star and felt the love in Comfort Cafe, felt what was going on, that just diminished all problems for me. And I knew I found the home.
I think for me, I'll speak too, but because our walk is so different. Like, I didn't live on the streets. I was like the PTA mom and the, baseball mom and all the things. And so, like, on the outside, my life looked like I had it together. But internally, I felt as empty as someone that was experiencing some of the things that Harold said. And I know for me, it was the same thing, like to know the deservability I had to experience love. And because when I was part of beginning Serenity Star, and the hardest thing for me was to receive the love from the community and know that I was worth it. And I think to our core as human beings and as addicts, alcoholics, we never think we're enough. So everything that we did, we're trying to prove ourselves, and the bottom line is I'm not enough and I'm not lovable. And so the only way to experience that is to surrender my will to God, to a higher power. And it's a journey to do that. It's definitely a journey to do that. So I think the experience for most of us is learning how to surrender fully. Because I'll surrender this part of me, but you're asking me to surrender my children? I don't think so. That's not going to work. So there's different levels of surrender as we heal. So I just wanted to say that. Did you have it? Yeah. We have one in Leon Valley on Bandera Road. Yes. It's not as big. It's in a strip mall, so it's a different feel, but it's delicious, and our lovely energy is there. So you'll have, and the amazing
Yes,
food is
same
there. Yeah. One thing I was gonna say, and we can discuss this, if y'all are willing to break up like in groups of 8 and maybe come, like in groups of 8, we can accommodate that. If y'all came like 20, 30 minutes apart or like just broke up in groups. What was difficult was just sitting a party of 25 or 30. So I can speak with Joe about that, accommodating something like that. If y'all would be willing to do that, we could work that out, I'm pretty sure.
Did you tell them about Comfort Suites?
Oh, yeah. So I don't know how long, we just got the keys today, but at the restaurant that I was speaking of in Leon Valley, we are opening Serenity Suites. And what that's going to be is a bakery and a coffee shop. So while if you're waiting, or if you just want to pop in and grab a coffee and something, sweet, and we may have, I don't know what it looks like yet, but we may have like to-go salads or little sandwiches, like quick things there as well. But that's going to be opening, so follow us on Facebook.
Also High Design?
And then we have a High Design. High Design is our little store that we have. I don't know if y'all have ever visited upstairs at Los Patios, but we are going to have High Design in that Serenity Suites too. So always expanding, always doing things. Yeah. We do. No, that's just going to be like our home base where we do meetings, and then our residents will live there. Yeah.
You did mention the problems you had with the facility on Bandera Road across from HEB.
Uh-huh.
They had a cafe inside Loop 410 on Bandera Road across from HEB, and it was in a flood zone, and it completely flooded out.
Yeah, that's where when we were brought to San Antonio, we started at that location, and it did flood. It actually flooded twice. It flooded.
Completely rebuilt it, and less than 2 years later, it completely flooded again.
No, months. It was months later. Yeah.
I know, and it was just tragic. I mean, they had all their furniture, everything, out in the parking lot trying to dry everything out.
Yeah, and then luckily we had just opened the location at Los Patios, so we all shifted there. So yeah, that was the beginning. So we've had lots. What's beautiful about Serenity Star and the resilience of everyone that's in our program and the program itself, it's like no matter what happens, we know it's on purpose. Like we know that we're going to grow from it, and because everyone was so upset for us when that happened, and the way that we looked at it, like it's like in my world, it's a little inconvenient. We got to deal with this, but I'm going to grow from this. It's something that God's giving me so I can grow and learn about myself. It doesn't look, we call it left turns. It's a big left turn because it wasn't what we thought the road was going to look like, but there's so many gifts inside of, like, we got so many people to help us, and there's so many gifts. And so we look at it, okay, so God says we're done here, what's next? And then you just move on rather than worry about what happened and how could that have been different, or putting my energy in that. It's like so God says we're done there, and let's move our energy somewhere else. And that's one of the biggest gifts that I've gotten, is like learning that nothing's wrong. Everything is just exactly the way it's supposed to be. And when I implement that in my life and I'm okay with it, I don't have to like what I accept, and a lot of times I don't, and I'll throw a tantrum for a little bit, but then I'll continue to go, okay, God wants me to experience it this way. And so letting go, and that's one of the biggest gifts that I've gotten from this program and learning how to live in God's will. Because my will was a mess, and I held on to it for a really long time because I said it was what I knew, or comfortable, even though it wasn't comfortable at all, And I won't go into a lot of my story, but I do want to say, when I was learning about myself, I minimized, as a codependent, I minimized my addiction and my alcoholism. And so when I started learning, really getting honest with myself, and I quit minimizing, I could really own, even though I wasn't a closet drinker, or people didn't know I had a drinking problem or a drug problem. I knew that I did, because when I started getting help and I told my family I was going to go into recovery and go to meetings and stuff, they're like, Gina, you're not an alcoholic or an addict. And it's like, I knew that I didn't know how to cope with life. I knew that I was numbing. When I didn't want to feel, I would create a party, and it would look all fun, and I would create a girls' night out or happy hour. But it's like, I didn't want to feel what I was feeling. And really young in college, I stayed intoxicated from every Thursday to Sunday. And then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I would keep it together, or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, keep it together and go to class. But I would use to numb, because I didn't want to feel, and I didn't know how to express my emotions. I didn't know how to express what I needed to have a beautiful life or to own myself. And that's the gift of recovery, and that's a gift that living in a community of addicts and alcoholics gives me, because people hold me accountable, because they know who my spirit is and who my heart is. And when I'm not showing up as that, they'll go, tap, 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 that's not who you are. And that's what we do for each other. And it's a gift. At first, it's a hard pill to swallow. I think when Robin asked the question, like, what was the hardest thing? I think one of the hardest things collectively that what I've experienced is learning how to receive love in the way of, hey, that's not working for your life. Because like what Pop shared, like there's a defensiveness that we have. You don't know me, but it's like, I do know you because I experienced it. I do know you because I walk that way. I do know you because I'm stubborn, just like you are, So there's a commonality and a connection that we all have that's really beautiful. And what's beautiful is we get to share that in the cafe. When we meet people, we get to open our hearts and share our story as much as we can, when we're serving tables. But that's our commitment, is like to be connected and to have people feel the energy that we get to feel every single day, the gratitude that we get to experience every single day. And then for us, knowing that it's a choice. If I want to choose to be unhappy or mad about a situation, or irritated at a person, it's a choice. And I can choose to live that way, or I can choose to heal, own what it's hitting inside of me, because, Harold shared a little bit about his childhood, and it's like each one of us has a childhood. And even though we're the ages that we are, there's still aspects of us, I believe, that are wounded if we don't heal that from our childhood. Because I know when I started this journey, I was acting like a spoiled brat teenager. And I'm like, what in the world? So I had to go back in and see the wounds from that child and why I was acting that way. And then what we say is we're the parent now. We get to parent the way that I wasn't parented. And not that my parents did anything wrong. They did the best they could. But now I get to parent the way that it works for me. And that's what we teach in the program too. So I'll just leave it there. If y'all have any more questions, we would love to answer them. We don't. We choose to stay private just because we feel like if we start getting help from like the state or the federal, like what's going on right now, they might take it away. And so it's worked for us to get private, to stay private, and in that way,
Self-sufficient.
yeah, that way, because when you start getting help too, they start having rules that we can't do certain things, and like some of them is like we can't give hugs, and it's like we need hugs, we need that personal connection. So we've chosen to stay in the private sector. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think so. The Big Give, tell me what that is. I'll research it. The Big Give. Okay. I'll research it. Okay. Oh, nice. Okay, I'll research that. Thank you for that. The Big Give. Okay, we'll remember that. I'll research it today. Thank you. Yay, yes. Absolutely anyone. Well, so there's some criteria. So the big thing is you have to be willing, because a lot of times families want it before the addict, alcoholic wants it. So you have to be willing, because we do demand a high level of willingness, because if you're going to make us work harder for your life, that doesn't work for my program. So I have to protect my program. So first of all, they have to be willing. And then we're not a medical facility. So if they have like high medical needs or they need to be on a lot of psych meds, we allow some meds, but there has to be a balance. So not everyone, but someone that's willing to like, and even if someone comes in on psych meds and then they're willing to taper off and that works for them in their life, then we'll accept that. It's not black or white. It's very gray. But yeah. Any more questions? What days are you open? So the cafe is open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, 8 to 4. Yes. And then just so y'all know, on Easter, we will be closed at Los Patios. We're going to all be at our newer location for Easter, but only Easter Day we're doing that.
Yeah, that's on Bandera.
Yeah, the Leon Valley location.
You guys have any question about the food?
Oh, we didn't. Maybe next time we will. We should have brought y'all something. Well, thank you for having it. Oh, you have a question?
Thank you.
getting jobs out. Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I don't know if we said it, but service is part of the program. So on the weekends when we're in the cafe, it's considered part of our program. So not only are they learning a trade so they can go out, but they're learning how to function in life and how, like what their reactions are to real life situations. Yeah, and then the people that are like, I'll never go to be a server. I don't like people. I'm antisocial. It's like, great, you're going to be serving next weekend because that's what you need.
Yeah.
And so we really stretch people to get outside of what's comfortable for them. So, yeah, that's part of the program. But absolutely. And what's funny is we have a lot of chefs that come to us, and we have to de-chef them. We have to have them unlearn some of the things because a lot of our chefs that have come to us are very egotistical and very mind. And so what we teach is everything comes from intentional and heart. And then that's why we think our food is so much enjoyed, is because we put so much intention and love in everything that we do. And so we have to teach the chefs not to have it be perfect in the mindset, but bring your love to it. Because a lot of our recipes, you'll find, we don't have a recipe book. It's a dash of this, it's a dash of that. Because once you're flowing with the Spirit, you just do it. And you do it with love, and then people taste that and experience that. So, all right, now we're done.
Thank you guys for having us.
Thank you so much for coming and being vulnerable enough to share some very personal, private stories. This is a token of our appreciation. It's an American flag with keys, and we are our group is called Keys, keeping everyone young and spirit. I always mess up. Keeping everyone young in spirit. And thank you for being here. You're welcome to join us for lunch. And if possible, if you could each sit at a different table so that you'd interact with different people. And just appreciate you being here. And we have appreciated Comfort Cafe. One of our favorite places to go. And I'll never forget the day that Jim ordered the French toast or something. And it was like piled up. And he ate every bite. Every bite. And I know we all have our favorite dish from there. And we have never had a bad time. And the servers were great. And it's just a joy. And we'll have to work out some way of coming either divided. Because we don't have to sit at big tables if we can get in and get two or three tables. We'll figure that out, and we'll be back. And maybe even an impromptu trip this summer, because we still do our birthday lunches throughout the summer. And maybe we'll get Pops working with us. My grandkids call me Pop-O. So, well, thank you again. Let me remind you of the things that are coming up. The sign-ups out there for, next Friday, don't forget, we aren't meeting because it's Good Friday. But on the 25th is our Fiesta celebration. And King Antonio will be here, and we will have mariachis here. A big day for us. King Antonio will be here sometime around 10 o'clock. So we need to kind of get going earlier. They emailed me and said 9:50, but when they give you a time, they never show up at 9:50. and they say that they only have 20 minutes, and they stay here forever. But that will be the 25th of April. We'll have King Antonio. We'll have snacks out on the patio, and then and if your birthday is in April, then this lunch will be your birthday lunch. So you wouldn't have to pay for your birthday lunch. And then coming up in May, the first Friday in May is the Battle of Flowers Parade. That just seems odd to say that's happening in May. And then we've got the 9th of May, Dr. Jonathan King is going to be coming and sharing with us some particulars about the Zabinden Center. I know you've heard about it. I don't know how much you know about it. And now they're kind of up and running and have had a couple of cycles, and I think that that would be good to hear about. On the 16th of May, we are headed to the George H.W. Bush Senior Library in College Station. We have a coach bus. We'll leave around 9:30. I know that's early. I know that you don't like to drive down here to be here at 9:30, especially on a weekday because of the traffic. But we plan to leave around 9:30. That will put us at Buc-ee's in Bastrop around 11 o'clock. So Buc-ee's is a great place, and we'll take some time there. You can get coffee. You can use the restroom because Buc-ee's has a million opportunities for that. And if you want to buy your lunch there and take it to the museum, then you can decide that. We expect to get to the library, Bush Museum at 1:30 after we leave Buc-ee's, and the museum does have a cafe now. And I have the menu and everything that I put out on the table so you can take a look at it. And it's reasonably priced, so you could possibly purchase your lunch there. We will leave the library at 4:30. That's about 3 hours. Does that feel like too long? I know when we were talking about staying there for 4 hours, people were saying that's way too long. And we'll leave around 4:30, and then our dinner stop will be in Bastrop at Buc-ee's. No, I'm joking. There's a Mexican restaurant that's right across the street. We stopped there the last time we went, and I called them back, and they said, we have a new deal. It's just a little bit further down the road, and it's a larger building, and so it will be the same restaurant, but different place, and they have better accommodations. So we're looking at getting there for dinner at 6, and then hopefully getting back here by 8:30. So I know 9:30 in the morning till 8:30 at night. You can sleep on the bus, and then Sachan Siv will be going with us as our host and tour guide. And so make sure that you plan on doing that. The sign up is out there. Oh yeah, Carole King. That is at the Wonder Theater, and we already have 16 people signed up for that. We only purchased 20 tickets because we didn't want it. Now, if you guarantee that you're going to go, we can get more tickets, but we didn't want to be stuck with tickets. So right now, I think I counted today, this morning, 16 people signed up. Yeah. Yeah. You just did the poster today, didn't you? Yesterday. So anyway, and I've been looking at what's coming, and Sound of Music is coming in December, if anybody would be interested in that. Sound of Music is near and dear to my heart because I lived in Vermont for 26 years, just over the mountain from the Von Trapp Lodge, and my grandson was in the Sound of Music this past November, or past this month, a couple months ago, whatever that was. You lose track of seasons in Vermont, in Texas, because it never gets cold. Rarely gets cold. And have we purchased tickets for that yet? Yeah, so we are looking at Sister Act. How many seemed interested in the Sister Act? Yeah, maybe. Sound of Music? Okay, that sounds like popular. We'll keep you posted on that. And be sure to be here this week. A lot of things going on. And the children will be running through the services with palm branches on Sunday, and you'll even have your own little palm branch to wave while they're going through. But just to be focused on our relationship with Jesus and what he did and how much God loved us and showed his love for us, in that while we were still sinners, he sent his son to die for us. My favorite thing about Easter Sunday is at the end when everyone gets together and sings the Hallelujah chorus. And my first Easter here, I just wanted to shut the doors and stay there. Can we just stay here and sing this all afternoon? So we are looking forward to the celebration that will be ours next week. And I encourage you to be a part of it.